Hi, this is Laura Lee Waldorf from lauraleewaldorf.com and radicalwellnesstv.com. I'm here with Loretta Ramsire, and she did a talk for Hope for Stroke, a support group for people who experience stroke and their caregivers. This is a video about single-handed living, and it's not just for the stroke person, it is for the caregivers too, because it gives the stroke person a lot more independence. So Loretta, how did you become single-handed?
Well, it happened abruptly one day in November of 1993 when I had a stroke. And it cost me an arm and a leg. I have paralysis on the left side, and I have no use of the left hand, and I walk with a cane, and I learned single-handed living day by day because I had to.
And Loretta has created a system that she goes through in her day-to-day living that she spent a lot of time, energy, and money figuring it out. So she's giving the gift of skipping all that part for the caregivers and for the stroke person to go straight to the chase on how to live single-handedly with working with what you got.
And I didn't approach it as a system to begin with. To begin with, it was, tried to figure out how I could do various things. And I didn't want to have to call somebody else to help with lots of things that I could do myself. And I would look through catalogs and try to find items that might help me. And only after I met Laura Lee did I realize that I had a lot of tips for doing things with one hand, and she encouraged me to do this presentation. So I'll start with breakfast in the morning, and I store my breakfast cereal and freeze-dried blueberries and bananas in this dispenser by ZevPro, ZEVPRO. It's available online. And to get my morning cereal, I just go like this. Except I usually have more than that. And then another general principle on living single-handedly is don't assume that you've only got a forefinger and a thumb to move things with. Think of ways to use all your fingers. Like I figured I could take my water and my cereal into the bedroom by using my forefinger and thumb, and then using the other fingers for this. Or if I have the refrigerator open and I want to grab a cookie and a grape, I can grab a cookie like this and a grape like that.
So you use it for more than one function. And then to open things.
And these bottles are really hard to open, even when I hold them between my knees. And this Canon bottle opener is wonderful. You just hold the item here, and when the electricity is working, this circulates and opens it. It even works well with child-proof tops, and I've never met a child-proof top that I can't open with this thing. It can also be useful for frail seniors, frailer than I.
And it's called Open Up.
And it's also available now at Amazon.com. For a long time, I had one and couldn't locate any place that sold them. But recently, I found them at Amazon and bought them for all my frailest relatives.
This is great. What a good gift. So, moving on to
washing the hand. It does take two hands to really wash a hand. So I use pump soap like this, and I can get soap onto my hand, and then I have a brush that fastens on the counter with suction cups. This table is not quite smooth enough for suction, but with the soap I can rub my hand on the foot to get a clean hand easily. And then wash it, and if you're not going to be environmentally conscious, for a paper towel, I use this vertical towel holder, because with one hand you discover if you pull on a roll of paper towels, you get dozens of paper towels coming off. With this kind of holder, it's easy to take just one.
So these simple ideas can go a long way. And then,
for clothing, hangers don't work very well with one hand. You get the item on one side and the other side goes up and one side wants to come down. And skirt hangers don't work easily because how do you open one and put a skirt in? I discovered that over the door hooks like this work. I put one over the closet door and hang things on the hook. I have several over the door to keep things separate.
nice. Okay, so other clothing items like, let's see, maybe your stockings.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
and I don't wear clothes that have zippers because you need one hand to hold the sides together and one to zip up and down. So I prefer to find skirts and pants with elastic at the top. And I wear scrub tops a lot, mostly because they have pockets. And
Snap.
that way I don't have to use up my hand carrying something, I can put it in the pocket.
And then your backpack.
And
And your
this purse is a waist bag, and they're sold online by Bagolini. And they were developed for flight attendants with many pockets. If you're in San Luis Obispo, they sell them at San Luis Obispo Luggage on Morrow Street.
And then the thigh highs. What do you want?
And then I'm thinking of the desk and paperwork.
Okay.
And this is a weighted pencil sharpener. This is a stapler. And this is tape. The pencil sharpener is available at Staples. And the stapler works easily. And the tape, because it's weighted, is easy to use with one hand. So, and I noticed that writing on smooth surfaces or writing in a checkbook is often hard because the paper tends to move on a slick surface. So I get these angle weights at micromark.com to hold things down, and it will hold the checkbook down very nicely. And I buy these envelopes at USPS, and I buy boxes of 500, which cost a little more for the envelope with the forever stamp than the stamps alone would cost. And they're handy because they are peel and stick. You have my weight? Or did I?
Have it. Sorry. Change your weight.
See, the weight holds better than something else with just a little weight. And then I can close the envelope and address it. And then when mail comes, I use this electric opener from March and Yale, available on Amazon. Oops, we're a little,
Hands up there. There you go.
see if I can do the other end.
Okay.
And it zips right through envelopes without damaging the insides or anything. This is something two-handed people might even enjoy also. And I buy stamps on panes from USPS. That's much easier than trying to separate stamps from a roll. The stamps just peel off and stick when you're not using your pre-stamped envelopes. And for general things around the house, for general cutting, I use the Ultra cutter, because scissors don't work very well with one hand, because you need one hand to guide the paper and the other to use the scissors. Scissors intuitively don't seem like a two-handed thing, but with this, I can just cut through tape on packages and it opens.
Because you order things on Amazon, that cutter comes in very handy for packages that come in through. That's it.
And I'm not wanting to get ads for Amazon, but it is nice to have the things delivered to your door and to have free shipping. The paperwork, I discovered that putting things in alphabetical order doesn't on its face seem like a two-handed thing, but I became to realize that you normally put one hand to mark your spot and the other to thumb through for items to put in that spot. So I buy files with compartments that stay open, and this file has letters of the alphabet and months, and I put papers in there to put them in alphabetical order. I also have this daily desk file sorter, and it has sections labeled A through Z, and I can put papers in alphabetical order in this. I also, at tax time, I will put new labels on these for categories where I want to save receipts and things.
Awesome.
Product instructions often come on little tiny folded up pieces of paper that are hard to read. I usually go to the manufacturer online, and I can usually find a PDF of the instructions. And I print those out and put them in these white oak notebooks from Staples that are one touch, one finger easy open. And if I have my instructions like this, I can read them without the problem of self-closing books. Some of my friends are comfortable reading books on the computer or on their Kindle. I haven't gotten used to that yet, but one friend says it's wonderful, and I'll have to work on that.
Just turning pages and opening up, holding
a book open and turning pages is definitely detracts from the joy of reading.
So, I understand that you have your driver's license.
Oh, well, I got that recently, and I was thrilled to pieces. Jason Wong of Central Coast Driving School in San Luis Obispo gave me lessons, and he was marvelous. He's a former DMV examiner, and he worked with me to find ways of driving with one hand only. And I learned to drive without using a knob. He told me that if I took the test without a knob, I wouldn't have to have a knob as a limitation on my license. So I learned that I was able to turn the wheel safely with one hand. And it only takes 1 foot to do the brake and the gas. So
that gives you a lot of independence.
Yeah, and I did several months of lessons from him, and my advice is just do exactly what he tells you to do, and take the test only when he says you're ready. And if you're not from San Luis Obispo, he's probably in your area.
So you do sweepstakes too?
Oh, I enter hundreds of sweepstakes, and it's a way to make money and get fun prizes. Back in 2008,